Hello, this is Steve Jewell from Big Bear Digital, giving you some Big Bear tips to make a Big Bear difference. Today we're going to talk about something called failure mapping. Now, one of the most important things to think about when you're putting a website together is the user experience. The user experience covers everything from the point they first get on your site and what is it that they see when they first get onto your website, to them filling out your contact form or whatever other goal it is that you want them to convert and do. So it might be signing up to a newsletter, it might be filling out a quote request for a specific product or service, it might be booking onto a specific event or seminar that you're running. But what you've got to think about with your user experience is, what is it that's going to make that user do what it is you want them to do? There's nothing worse when you get onto a website than a really confusing navigation menu. You see, especially on larger corporate websites, quite often, you'll see several layers of navigation and menus. You might see one right at the top, one slightly further down, maybe even another one down the side. And all this does is confuse the user into not knowing what they should do. It can also be disrupted by a confusing call to action. So you might be talking about one of your specific services on a page. Let's say, in my case, website design. And then within that page, there's also a call to action for digital marketing. Sure, it's related, but it's going to be potentially confusing for the person that's reading it, and it's not going to flow the same as it would do if there was a call to action there to prompt them to get in touch about web design itself. Another thing that can confuse the user experience is too much content, especially when someone is first putting a new website together for their business. If they haven't had a website for that business before, one of the main worries that clients often come to me with is they don't know where to start with their content. They feel they need to produce so much content. But quite often, what you'll find is once you've had a website for a while and you've got all this content that you painstakingly wrote when you first started the website, is there's actually just too much information there for someone to take in. You need to streamline it. Less is definitely more, and quality is definitely far more important than quantity when it comes to website content. So how is failure mapping going to improve your user experience? Well, let's say you've had a website for a couple of years and no one's getting in touch through your website. Well, the first thing it could be, of course, is that no one's coming to your website in the first place, and that's a completely different problem and definitely a different issue. Let's say you've had this website for a couple of years and people are coming to your website. You're doing marketing, whether it's social media or email marketing, or you're going networking and people are going onto your website from your business card, but still no one's getting in touch. Well, you need to go through your website as if you were one of your potential customers. Think how they would think and think through the process of, is this telling me to do what I want my clients to do? And don't just go through it in terms of your ideal client either. Go through your website with different personas. So if you offer multiple different services, go through your website with each of those, with a potential client for each of those services in mind. So let's say, you are you're an estate agent and you also do lettings. You want to go onto your website with someone that is interested in buying a house in mind, and you also want to go through your website with someone who is interested in renting a house in mind. And those two user journeys could be completely different, and they're definitely going to be interested in different things. And then you want to think about the reverse side of that for that industry. So you want to think about someone who's wanting to sell a house, and then you want to think about someone who's a landlord and wanting to let out their property. Those are four completely different user experiences and user journeys that you need to think about when you're putting your website together in terms of getting each of those different individuals to do what you want them to do. And failure mapping is all about going through that process on your current website, working out what's stopping someone from fulfilling that goal that you want them to do. Then, once you've come up with all the problems, start to think of solutions. So if there's no prompt for the landlords, for example, on the homepage, put a call to action in there for the homepage, for landlords on the homepage. Maybe on an estate agency website, you could have 4 main boxes on the homepage. One that says, do you want to sell your house? Do you want to let a house? Do you want to buy a house, or do you want to rent a house? And that straight away then gives you a starting point for 4 different customer journeys right from the off. So when you're thinking about reviewing your website, remember to think about failure mapping. Go through your website, see where the potential problems are with your current user journey, and improve it to make sure that every potential customer that comes onto your site finds an easy way to get to the information they're looking for. Thanks for watching. This has been Steve Jewell bringing you some Big Bear tips to make a Big Bear difference.